So, probably one of the most cerebral and important game show hosts of the last 70 years, Chuck Woolery unfortunately passed away on November 23rd after a short illness. But his impact on game shows and the what he called the handsome intelligence he presented will never be forgotten. Now, the native of Ashland, Kentucky, born March 1641, also was a talk show host, an actor, and a great musician. He charted in the bottom 100 back in the early 60s. He had long-running tenures hosting several game shows. He was original host of Wheel of Fortune from 75 to 81, and the original host of the incarnation of Love Connection back in 2 and 2 in 83 94. Scrabble from 84 to 90, and during a brief revival in 93. The very underrated Greed on Fox from 99 to 2000, and Lingo on Game Show Network from 2007 to 2002. 2007, of course, RuPaul hosts the network version now. Woolery's musical career includes several advertising jingles, a top 40 pop hit with psychedelic pop duo The Avant-Garde, and a number of country music releases. Again, born in Ashland, the son of Catherine, a homemaker, and Dan Woolery owned a Fountain Supplies company. After her high school, he served 2 years in the U.S. Navy aboard the USS Enterprise. In 1963, he worked as a wine consultant for Wasserstrom Wine, an import company in Columbus, Ohio. Now, in the early 60s, Woolery sang and played a double bass with a folk song trio called the Bordermen. He also sang in a duo called the Avant-Garde, who were the psychedelic pop genre. The other half of the duo was Bubba Fowler. They signed to Columbia Records and had a top 40 hit with Naturally Stoned 68, bringing the duo one-hit wonder status. It also reached top 30 in Canada on October 21st, 68. As a solo artist, Woolery released 5 records with Columbia. After 1970, he signed with RCA and released Forgive My Heart. In 71, another single, Love Me, Love Me, failed to make any impact. He then turned to acting. In the late 70s, he returned to his singing career. He charted the hot country songs with Painted Lady and The Greatest Love Affair. Between 77 and 80, he recorded for Warner Brothers and Epic as a solo artist with 2 low-charting singles on the hot country songs. Woolery also co-wrote The Joys of Being a Woman on Tammy Wynette's 71 album, We Sure Can't Love Each Other. And the biggest problem with Woolery, of course, was the diversity of wives he had. He had 4 spouses. He had Margaret Hayes from 61 to 71, the beautiful actor Joanne Flug, who was on MASH from 72 to 80, Terry Nelson from 85 to 2004, and Kim Barnes from 06 to 2016. As an actor, he appeared with Stephen Boyd, Rosie Greer, and Cheryl Ladd in the mid-70s film The Treasure of Jamaica Reef, very underrated movie. Now, he also performed as Mr. Dingle on the children's TV series New Zoo Review in the early 70s. During that time, he made his first game show appearance on the episode of Tattletales in 74, alongside with Flug. Starting as a singer, Woolery appeared in an episode of Your Hit Parade. On January 6, 75, began hosting Wheel of Fortune. That's the suggestion of creator Merv Griffin, who had seen Woolery sing the Tonight Show. Woolery hosted the show for 6 years, and in 78 was nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Host or Hostess in a game or audience participation show. In 81, he was involved in a salary dispute with the program's producers. He said in a 2007 interview that he demanded a raise from $65,000 a year to about $500,000 a year because the program was drawing a 44 share at the time. And other hosts such as Richard Dawson and Bob Barker were making that much. Griffin offered Woolery $400,000 a year, and ABC offered to pay the additional $100,000. But after Griffin threatened to move the program to CBS, NBC withdrew the offer. Woolery's contract was not renewed. His final episode aired on Christmas Day 81, and Pat Sajak replaced him, and he stayed in charge of that show for almost over 40 years. Now, when he hosted Love Connection from 83 to 94, it became a household word across Canada and the States. But he also was the main presenter for The Big Spin, Scrabble, Home and Family, The Dating Game, Greed, TV Land Ultimate Fan Search, and Lingo. In addition, he was a subject of short-lived reality TV, Chuck Woolery, Naturally Stoned, originally titled Chuck Woolery, Behind the Lingo in 2003. He also hosted his own talk show, The Chuck Woolery Show, which lasted only a few months in 91. He hosted The Price is Right Live at Harrah's Entertainment Casinos and appeared in a live stage show, 250,000 Game Show Spectacular at the Westgate, Las Vegas until April 2008. Now, on April 21st, 2023, It was announced that Woolery would be featured in an upcoming 4-episode doc by ABC News titled The Game Show Show, covering the history of game shows in America over the last 8 decades. The 4-part documentary premiered on May 10th, 2023. Now, Woolery later hosted 80s Quiz Show, a game show based on trends and norms of the 1980s, which streamed on Fox Nation on June 7th, 2025. Now, from 2012 to 2014, he hosted a nationally syndicated radio commentary show, Save Us Chuck Woolery, which grew out of his YouTube videos. In 2014, the show became a long-format podcast and retitled Blunt Force Truth. However, the show can still be heard on about 60 radio stations across the country. With co-host Mark Young, Woolery expands on his conservative political ideals and current events, often inviting guest experts to join the conversation. Now, I'm not going to talk much about his Republican leanings, but he had some weird theories. But the strangest part is this. Now, he did say in 2020 that the people in the public were lying about COVID, but the following day, he tweeted his son had tested positive for the virus and that the COVID-19 pandemic is real. His Twitter account was eventually later made private before later on becoming public again. And again, his politics are his own. And like I said, I'm not going to beat him up on that because he had these views that were not mine. But like I said, I respect him as an artist. Now, Woolery was a Christian who volunteered in ministry. He had married 4 times and was the father of 5. Woolery and his first wife, Margaret, had 2 children together, Catherine and Chad. Unfortunately, Chad was killed in a motorcycle accident in January 86. In 1972, in his marriage with Flug, he had a daughter, Melissa. They divorced in 1980. With third wife, Terry, who was an adopted daughter of actor David Nelson and granddaughter of Ozzie and Harriet Nelson. The duo had 2 sons, Michael and Sean. In 2006, he married Kim Barnes. Now, Woolery unfortunately passed at his home in Horseshoe Bay, Texas, on November 23rd, 2024, at the age of 83. Now, what does Chuck Woolery mean to daytime? Well, in all aspects, ladies and gentlemen, just as important as Bob Barker and Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek were. At one point, he was, for ratings and recognition, he was top 5. But Love Connection, ladies and gentlemen, completely bizarre. Because the way he reacted to contestants were the show. Yes, there was he went on kind of a blind date, but his reaction to what they were saying in the blind date, and he would play it to the camera. But he could do, like I said, the more serious game shows. But for me, Love Connection, it hasn't really been what he call perfected in any other form. But Woolery, a very cerebral guy, a very, very spiritual guy, and a very, very talented guy. We're going to miss him a lot. So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry the bad news about one of your daytime favorites passing away, but, he's up in the game show heaven. He's probably hosting with Bob Barker. He's doing the morning Price is Right, and Bob is doing the evening. And I don't know, I don't understand why he was never asked to do the Price is Right, but Drew Carey probably had some more pull than he did. So that's the story of the life and legend of Chuck Woolery. And as we like to say in the North Shore, can I have the letter M? Tick, 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 lingo. Have a good one. Bye.